Harley Davidson, once the ultimate symbol of American freedom and rebellion, is now facing its toughest challenge ever. Sales floors are empty, old diehards are furious, and the future of the brand is uncertain. Finally, after months of ignoring the problem, Harley Davidson CEO has finally spoken up. But is it just a corporate spin? Can he really fix the damage? Or is everything just too far gone to salvage this once-iron-clad brand? Let's find out. For years, Harley Davidson's sales have been crashing as dealerships are closing, and angry riders are flooding social media with complaints about how the company has gone astray. And for the past few months, Harley's leaders said nothing while tension built among riders and investors. Then, CEO Jochen Zeitz finally broke the silence with an official statement. He tried to calm everyone down by promising the return to the classic motorcycle spirit that made Harley Davidson famous. His message ended with a passionate call to action. United, we ride. But Zeitz's carefully crafted statement didn't have the effect he hoped for. Most riders saw right through it. They believed it was just another corporate trick designed to make investors happy, not a real commitment to change. The problem wasn't just talking. Harley was making real changes that upset its core fans, like pushing hard into electric motorcycles, focusing on stability and making business decisions that seemed more about impressing Wall Street than honoring biker culture. To many loyal Harley riders, the company was betraying everything that once made it great. The rebellious spirit that defined Harley for decades was being replaced by corporate strategy and trend chasing. Almost immediately, social media became a battleground for Harley Davidson's most passionate fans. Riders weren't just unhappy, they were organizing full-scale rebellions. Long-time motorcycle enthusiasts felt like the company they loved was selling out, chasing trendy ideas that had nothing to do with the spirit of riding. What used to be bustling dealerships were now ghost towns. Shiny new motorcycles sat untouched, and dealers were so desperate to sell that they were slashing prices dramatically. The legendary Harley confidence had disappeared, replaced by a growing sense that something was seriously wrong. The electric motorcycle controversy. The Livewire electric motorcycle became the perfect symbol of everything riders hated about the new Harley. For traditional riders, the Livewire lacked everything they loved about Harley: the thunderous roar, the raw power, and the unmistakable presence. Instead, it was quiet, sterile, and extremely expensive. The battery also had serious limitations like short driving range and long charging times. Even worse, when Harley realized the Livewire wasn't working, they basically gave up by creating a separate electric motorcycle division. To many long-term fans, that looked like Harley was more interested in chasing trends than staying true to its legendary reputation. The message was clear. Harley seemed to care more about looking modern than preserving the raw, adventurous spirit that made the brand legendary. For riders who saw their motorcycles as more than just transportation, but as a statement of freedom and rebellion, this felt like a total betrayal. Harley Davidson's problems with the electric motorcycle weren't just a small mistake, they were a sign of a much bigger crisis. The company that once seemed unbeatable was now in serious financial trouble. The numbers told a brutal story as sales were dropping fast, stock prices were plummeting, and Wall Street investors were losing confidence. The consequences went far beyond just corporate numbers. When Harley started cutting costs, entire communities felt the impact as factories were closing, causing workers to lose jobs. Small towns that depended on Harley were facing economic disaster, and local businesses like motorcycle gear shops and roadside diners were suffering. While Harley was struggling, other motorcycle companies were thriving, and they were doing it by learning from Harley's mistakes. The new challenges brought significant changes that resonated with many lovers of the Harley brand. Firstly, Indian motorcycles perfectly blended classic design with modern technology. Next, Triumph created retro-style bikes that appealed to both old and new riders. After that, Royal Enfield offered vintage-looking motorcycles at much lower prices. Finally, BMW designed touring motorcycles that could directly compete with Harley. Each of these brands found a way to honor motorcycle tradition while also embracing modern innovations. They offered what Harley seemed to be losing: a balance between respect for the past and excitement for the future. Triumph's Bonneville series, for example, looked like a classic motorcycle but rode like a modern machine. Royal Enfield's bikes captured a vintage aesthetic while being affordable. BMW showed that premium brands could still be competitive and innovative. These companies weren't just selling motorcycles, they were selling an experience that felt more authentic and exciting than what Harley was offering. While Harley struggled to define its future, Japanese manufacturers were already shaping it. Honda, Kawasaki, and Yamaha weren't just building motorcycles, they were reshaping the industry. Honda introduced the Goldwing and Rebel series, catering to riders who wanted performance without the hassle of complicated maintenance. Kawasaki developed the Vulcan series, offering powerful bikes that were easy to care for. Meanwhile, Yamaha created the Bolt and VMAX, delivering thrilling rides at prices that didn't break the bank. These brands proved that reliability and affordability could be just as appealing as raw power. Harley, however, was facing more than just declining sales. It was losing its identity. For decades, the brand had embodied freedom, rebellion, the open road, and pure American spirit. But now, it seemed uncertain of its own identity. Corporate policies were taking precedence over the raw riding experience. Sustainability initiatives were replacing traditional biker culture, and efforts to attract new customers were alienating the loyal riders who had built the brand. To make matters worse, Harley was no longer truly American. Key motorcycle parts were being manufactured overseas, factories across the United States were shutting down, and local communities that once depended on Harley were struggling. A brand that had once symbolized American manufacturing was becoming just another global corporation, and longtime riders were not happy about it. The motorcycle that once represented pure freedom was now feeling like just another corporate product. Harley wasn't losing market share, it was losing its identity. Can Harley find its way back? Harley Davidson is standing at a critical crossroads. The legendary motorcycle company isn't just facing a business challenge, it's fighting for its very survival and identity. Simply putting out a nice press release won't solve Harley's problems. The company needs a complete transformation. This means rethinking everything from how they design motorcycles to how they connect with riders. Harley must remember what made it special in the first place and use that unique identity to win back its audience. One promising path forward involves recommitting to true American craftsmanship. By bringing production back home and reducing reliance on foreign parts, Harley could rebuild its authenticity. The company needs to create motorcycles that are both affordable for new riders and still exciting for longtime fans. The real challenge is finding a perfect balance. Harley must innovate without losing the spirit that made it legendary. This isn't about chasing trends, but about staying true to the brand's heart. Harley needs to do more than just build motorcycles. It needs to rebuild a cultural experience. This means creating bikes that aren't just machines, but symbols of freedom and adventure. Marketing can't be about corporate numbers. It needs to be about the emotional connection between a rider and their motorcycle. The motorcycle world offers some powerful lessons. Take Ducati, for example. This Italian motorcycle manufacturer once faced similar challenges. They were struggling with quality issues and feeling disconnected from their riders. But instead of panicking, they doubled down on what made them special: incredible Italian design and passionate engineering. Ducati reimagined its lineup, creating bikes that spoke to both hardcore fans and new riders, and reconnected with what made their brand magical. They proved that a motorcycle company can evolve without losing its soul. Harley Davidson's future isn't guaranteed. The company must be brave enough to look honestly at its mistakes and courageous enough to make real changes. This means respecting its incredible history while also being willing to create something new and exciting. The motorcycle that once represented pure American freedom is at a turning point. Will Harley rediscover its rebellious spirit, or will it become just another forgotten brand? The next few years will tell the story of whether this American icon can ride again. Harley Davidson is in a fight for its life. This isn't just about selling motorcycles anymore, it's about saving an American legend. Right now, the entire motorcycle world is watching Harley. Competitors like Indian Motorcycles, Triumph, and BMW are ready to take over if Harley can't figure things out. The company is facing a brutal challenge. How do you stay true to your roots while also moving forward? Investors who once believed in Harley are now nervous. Every decision the company makes could be the difference between a comeback and complete failure. This is about more than balance sheets and sales numbers. Harley Davidson isn't just a motorcycle company. It's a symbol of American freedom and rebellion. To survive, the company needs to do more than create cool bikes. It needs to rebuild the emotional connection with riders who see a Harley as more than just transportation. Harley's struggles isn't unique. It represents a bigger challenge facing traditional American manufacturers. How do you honor your history while also embracing the future? How do you stay relevant in a world that changes faster every day? Can Harley Davidson rediscover that spirit that made it legendary? Can it remind people what it means to truly feel the open road? The next few years will answer that question. This isn't just about one company. It's about whether classic American brands can survive in a world of constant change. Harley Davidson isn't just fighting for its own future. It's fighting for the idea of what an American brand can be. Harley's future isn't just about motorcycles, it's about proving that legacy and innovation can ride together. The question is, will it rise to the challenge or fade into the past?